a social distance. Oh, Dan, up the back. And if the person can be lie with your knees bent and your feet standing to start with. So this is just a slightly weird thing, but afterwards we're going to talk about tonus. So I want you to have a sense of what tonus feels like. So let's pick some relatively innocuous muscle like the, sorry, I need to be ninja with the speakers. I'll come in here. So, you know, someone's calf muscle. So this is the gastrocs. There's soleus as well there. So this, you know, it's the big powerful muscle that lifts your heel off the ground. And with one hand and then the other, could you, and this is the question your hand is going to ask, is how kind of innervated, how excited is this calf muscle? Now you could just lay the hand on it, but actually to really get a sense of how excited it is, you might want to think about that movement that we just did and close your fingers a little bit on the, like just give the muscle a little bit of a squeeze kind of thing, just to feel, is it really, you know, what's its density, okay? So in this position, you might need to get them to slide their heel away from their buttock a bit, otherwise you can't get your hand in, yeah, which is maybe not the most comfortable. How could you have to position yourself so that you could really feel what's the level of tension or what's the squeezability of the, I'm doing this movement, it looks a bit obscene, doesn't it? And along the length of it. So obviously it starts above the knee, but you can't feel into, that's tenderness there. What you're feeling is the red fibres of the muscle. So the bit that you would eat if you weren't a vegetarian, and if so yesterday we had, you know, you could order a soup that had, you know, those fibrous bits like tendon and cartilage, didn't we? Not that we ordered that, but anyway. And of course then the calf extends down to the ankle, inserts into the heel bone, and it becomes tenderness again. So you can feel that transition, and you're using your hand to explore that structure and the density of it. In a way that's inquisitive but not, and maybe, you know, sometimes it's not even a squeeze, you might just sort of push into the muscle a little bit. So what would give you this information about how lively, I'll borrow Margaret Mayo's word, how lively the muscle is? Because that's what we're talking about with tonus, it's the liveliness. And when you're satisfied with that, ask the person to slide their leg down straight. And again, you know, this might not be so easy because you have to slide your hand underneath the muscle, but the point is for their knee to be straight now. And now feel the relative tension in the muscle in the same way as a comparison. And how would you organise yourself so that your own muscle liveliness isn't getting in the way, and that your hand can be as soft as it was in the bell hand, so that you're not just grappling with the muscle tension in your own little hand muscles. And has the muscle kind of changed shape as well? So if you're a sculptor, would you sculpt the shape of the calf muscle differently with the leg straight versus the leg bent? And is there a difference between your right hand feeling and your left hand feeling? Good. Now ask the person to stand up. In a way that they feel comfortable and they can maintain the standing. So maybe, feet comfortably apart. They can feel safe. And now go ahead and explore the right calf muscle in this position. With this idea of answering the question of how lively is this muscle now? What gives me information? How can I explore this muscle along its length and its width, its whole kind of three-dimensionality in this position? And again, if I was a sculptor, would the muscle have to be carved in a different shape in this position, even though it's actually the same anatomical configuration as lying down, the knee straight? Maybe the foot is a little more bent, but they've got a different orientation with respect to gravity. What influence does that have on the liveliness of the muscle? Are you getting quicker? Okay, now the person, if a person feels comfortable without touching something, that come up onto your toes. If you need to just go near the wall and put your finger, oh, there you go, Joel's got such a handy head. Yes. Joel, the public leaning post. You are a multi-talented fellow. You are a storm in any port. No, port in any storm. So what's the change now? If you don't want to just walk near a wall to hold on, you can just come up onto the tippy toes of one foot. It won't be quite so spectacularly different, but you'll get the idea. So what's the liveliness now? Along the length and the width. And perhaps we won't keep them in torture for too long. Pop back down on your heels. And now have your weight on your right foot, this is people in standing, and just your tippy toe of your left foot touching just for balance, and shut your eyes. Have you done headstands? We'll do that next. How lively is the calf in a headstand? This is the last one. So what happens to the liveliness? So standing with your eyes closed. Now, if I was really mean, I'd get you to take your left foot off, because then you'd really feel a change in the liveliness of the calf, right? Yeah, feel the dynamic nature of the liveliness. Can you? Well, I'm telling you what to feel. Feel what you like. I don't care. Doesn't matter. I don't know what you're feeling. I've never done it before. So that's the fourth dimension, right, isn't it, of this liveliness, that it changes very quickly over time. Okay, clear, people feeling? Swap over. No, actually, hang on. People who were being felters, go for a walk. And just because you might be feeling a bit asymmetrical now, Right, because it's quite powerful to have your liveliness pointed out to you. Right? They only did one leg because I'm mean. Yeah. So if you were going to leap off one foot, you know, like do a layup or do a, I don't know, like, what do you call those things with the basketball? I don't, you know, do something leapy. Do something leapy. Which foot would you leap off? This lively calf, or is that calf gone quieter because it's had a lot of information? Doing. Okay. And when you feel somewhat satisfied, maybe a little more symmetrical again, swap over. So remember the first position, the person's lying down with their feet standing and their knees sort of bent, but not bent, open enough that the person can get their hand all the way along the length of the calf. And both legs can be standing. It will help the calf relax more. Said something. So remember, your quest is to find how lively the muscle is. You know, there's a sub-quest here about where is the red fibre part of the muscle, the part that gets lively. You're doing it virtually. Very good. The virtual calf. You had the vegetarian version, no meat. So you remember you're feeling the shape and the liveliness, and you're doing this with this idea of the most sensitive parts is this sort of the pads of your fingers and thumb, and there might be something to do with them coming together that gives you an idea about the liveliness of the muscle by feeling its density or its tension or its softness or its hardness or its texture or all these million things that you could feel. And along the length of it, from the back of the knee all the way down to the heel, where it's no longer contractile, no longer the red fibre. And now for you guys, so it's a while since you did the bell hand, so there may not be a difference between your right hand and your left hand. So for me, I still feel like my right hand is a little bit more something than my left hand. So I'm thinking for you it might still be there. Is there a difference between what your right hand feels and your left hand? Now, if you're right-handed, you know, you have to factor that in. That's your background default. Background default? When you're satisfied feeling the calf in this position, ask the person to lengthen their legs long, let them settle, and then start your exploration again. Now, I'll add something for you guys, is when you're asking this question about the calf, could you feel the calf in a way that the person actually gets a sense of the question? So you're not giving them a massage, you're not doing something to them like, I am going to relax this calf, that your fingers have this quest. They could almost feel that your fingers are curious, your hand is curious, your nervous system is curious. And does that change the quality of your touch? Does it change the timing? Does it change the way you apply the little forces? How you apply them? It's like you wanted to share the answers of this question with the person. Can you feel that? And you're not saying it, but your hands are saying, can you feel that too? Oh, that used to be my alarm clock waking up. I want to throw it. Is this the group that brings cake when the things... Oh, dear. It's Jenny. It's Jenny. Oh, Jenny. Your phone went off and you know the rules. Cake. You're going to bring bugger cake? Is that what you said? Or bum cake? Oh, 2 cakes. Okay, when you're satisfied, do you remember the next position was standing? So ask the person to stand up. If they're reluctant to stand up, you can kick them. Yeah, pinch them, that's right. Yes, pull their hair, pull their nose. So it's just quiet standing, stable standing, so feet apart so that they feel very secure. Yeah. Yeah. He's your slave. And again, where does the calf muscle, where do these, where do the excitable fibres start? Where do they finish? Where are they the most? Where are they the least? And then when you're satisfied with that exploration, the person stands on their toes. If they need to go to it near the wall, that's fine. Somewhere so that they can sustain that standing on their toes for, a minute or two. And again, I haven't reminded this group of feelers, but if you were a sculptor, would you sculpt this calf differently in this position? So does its shape change? You can see who's good at wearing high heels. On toes. I've been on his toes. My nana couldn't walk, couldn't get her heels on the floor because she was so addicted to high heels. Her calves were short, always in this position. She had great legs too, really good legs. Very shapely. Okay, and if that's enough for that person, so you could then go, the last one was standing on the right leg. The left leg is just there for a tiny bit of balance. Eyes shut. And if they can stand on one leg with their eyes shut, good on them, and they can lift that left foot because you really feel the dynamic changes. If they're really just on one leg. But it's a bit mean for a long period of time. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, both will. Yeah, in that dynamic one, they will. And that's exactly. Muscles never work in isolation. They always have a partner. They have a pair. They have an opposer. Yep. Okay. And when you're ready, the other person can go for a little walk and they can feel the difference. Maybe there's a difference, maybe not. What does it mean to be felt? Has that influenced the tonus? As you know, having the tonus clarified without actually any language, has that affected the tonus? Or more importantly, what you would like to do, if you're going to leap off one foot, what foot would you leap off? If you're going to kick a ball with one foot, what foot would you kick with? If you're going to spin on one foot, which foot would you spin with? Okay. Good. All right, come back and just spend a few minutes talking with your partner, giving each other feedback about what you felt, what were the similarities and difference between the two,